your uncle, and that guy, Broker J3. We appreciate you guys joining us today. As Doc B said, we're going to be talking about this shutdown that appears to be imminent tonight, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're gonna see how that's gonna go, guys.
All right. Thank you, Mia Crystal, for joining us, the alchemist for joining
And
us.
while
Hey,
you
Love and Legend.
and while you guys have a chance, while we're just getting started, go ahead and share the live. Go ahead and let your people know we
Yes,
are
thank
on.
you.
We are live right now, so make sure you let everybody know that we are going live, so that way nobody misses tonight's episode. Okay.
Okay, guys. So Trump just posted. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's an AI video mocking Schumer and Jeffrey. He even has Jeffrey in a little sombrero hat. Then he threatened to shut down the government if he doesn't get what he wants. Just like a little kid, just throwing a temper tantrum. So who's really to blame for this? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to tear it all down. We're going to talk about the healthcare chaos, the budget sabotage, and the political blame shifting, which is going back and forth between the Democrats and the Republicans. So drop your comments and we'll read them live. We would love to hear from you guys. And thank you for being a part of the JMB family.
Exactly, guys. And again, as Doc B said, we're going to dive deep into the brink of the government shutdown tonight at midnight. And right as of right now, it appears imminent, especially if Congress fails to act.
Yes.
As Doc B said, Trump's tantrum and his AI video attack, closed negotiation, Mike Johnson canceling sessions, and the budget maneuvers that could blow health costs sky high.
Yes.
We're going to break all of that down. Uh, um, and also, we're going to be showing you guys all about this mess. Now, according to recent reports, we'll explain. We'll walk you through the multiple detailed scenarios, the viral sound bites, and of course, if we can pull a clip or two, we'll try our best to do that, especially for some of the TikTok and Reels, and show you the real cost that it's going to have on Americans. So, as Doc B said, leave your comments during the podcast. Make sure you guys share. Take the time to share. We want you to do that right now. Go ahead and share the live, like the live, and continue to tap on that screen. And as you guys know, we always have a gift goal that we try to meet each time we go live. So we'll appreciate you guys help us to reach that goal. And again, as Doc B said, you guys leave your comments. We'll be glad to read and react as you guys post your comments this evening.
Okay, guys. So shout out to everyone that across all of the platforms. We have Keisha. We have Tilly Trick, Excalibur X in real life. Thank you for joining us. We have Monroe Hall, Raymond Brown. Thank you for joining us as well. It does not matter whether you are watching us on YouTube, Instagram, or just any of the live screens. Thank you for being here because there's thousands of podcasts, different platforms that you could be watching. So thank you for joining us. And Broker J3, let's get to it.
All right, let's go ahead, guys. Let's jump into it, okay? Now, we're going to talk about where things stand at right now, Doc B. So let everybody know where we stand as of right now in regards to this shutdown.
Okay, so right now the clock is ticking. Tick tock, tick tock. If Congress doesn't pass a bill, okay, federal operations will shut down at 12 o'clock tonight. This pressure, guys, is real.
That's right. And things have escalated real fast. Trump is in full tantrum mode.
Yes,
he just released again, we talked about this AI generated video mocking Senator leader Chuck Schumer and the House leader Hakeem Jeffries. We're talking about the president guy. It's absolutely ridiculous when we're at this point where the president of the United States is actually mocking the senators in Congress. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And so what he's doing, guys, he really does not want to negotiate. He's saying it's either going to be his way or the highway. And it's like he's throwing a temper tantrum like a little kid. And that line from Schumer is already trending because People know Trump is known for throwing temper tantrums. Okay, folks. So you may see a bunch of stuff that's been popping off about this. It's all on AI today. So leave us a chat, a comment in the chat section if you've heard anything pertaining to this. Okay, guys. So according to some of the outlets, there's a political strategist or shorthand in internal memos that's tied to funding formulas. In other words, we need to keep digging on this research. I need you guys to pay attention to what's going on. You need to know about a governmental shutdown and who's going to be affected.
Exactly, guys. And now, Mike Johnson, again, like I said, he canceled the House session for yesterday and today. And that's a red flag. I mean, it's almost a slick tactic that he pulled. Now they don't want votes. They don't want that. They don't even want accountability. And just a real take on it. It's Trump, 2013. He put out he was being interviewed, and he was talking about the government shutdown. I think during this time, Obama was the president at that time. So he says that if the government shuts down, it's the president's fault. Because the president should be able to get the Democrats and Republicans in a room and talk it through to make sure that the government doesn't shut down. He said it doesn't matter. 25, 50, 100 years from now, people are not going to say, who was the Speaker of the House, who was leading the Congress.
Said.
He said that people are going to ask who was the president at that time. Now, this was 2013, guys. 12 years ago, this is exactly what Donald Trump said. Now, the same president today doesn't want any talks with the Democrats, and he's blaming them if the bill doesn't pass. And again, you control the House, the Senate, and the president, and most of the judicial system. But yet you're blaming it on the Democrats. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, guys. So we're going to take a look at that AI video and the public blow up from this, guys. That's what we need to take. We need to take a deeper dive into what actually happened and what that video is about.
Yeah, and we're having some technical difficulties pulling it up. But guys, you guys can actually go to YouTube and actually pull up that video of Trump's AI post against Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and you guys will be able to see it. And what is that? Redeem, you repent and believe the gospel. Okay, all right, now appreciate that.
Okay,
that's what people need to do.
Okay, guys. So we're going to take a deep dive into that deep fake video that shows Schumer saying some crazy stuff. It's just crazy. Got him saying negative stuff about the DNC, about the Democratic Party. So why would he be up there make a video talking negative about himself? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, so they're saying some insane things about welfare, about healthcare, and Jeffries dancing with a caricature stereotypes. And guys, that was just really stupid. And to be honest with you, I think it made Jeffrey a little bit mad because they had a press conference later on, and he said, these are his words: if Donald Trump has something to say to him, he wants him to tell him to his face. So according to the CBS News, the video was widely condemned as disgusting and bigoted. Okay, guys. So now, how do you feel about that? What do you think about that particular video if you've had an opportunity to watch it? Okay, so Aaron, thank you for joining us. All Eyes Know, thank you for joining us. Eugene, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support. Okay, so bigotry will not get you nowhere. And Schumer had this classic line: if you can't negotiate, you only throw temper tantrums. That's what Trump does. That is pure gold for social media.
Yeah, it sure is, Doc B. All right, now if Trump will shut the government down, his own government, because and he couldn't get away. If he can't get his way, that's really what he's going to do. Now he's already threatened that he's going to fire federal workers, even though that's not normal protocol. Normally, if the government is shut down for a period of time, they would actually put them on furloughs. But Trump said that he's going to fire federal workers if the government gets shut down.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is. Okay, so this optics is devastating. It's going to be devastating to a lot of people because, like Broker J3 just said, a lot of people will not get paid. People are going to have the high premiums. There's some things that people are going to be impacted by this because nobody wants to go with, and maybe they still may have to work, but they're not going to get paid. So that can be devastating. So while that video gets media attention, that's what boggles me. He spent all that time wasted on a freaking video when the government operations hang in the balance. That's what he needs to be focusing on, the government being shut down and how to prevent that instead of an AI video. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Guys, we appreciate anybody that has just joined us. Thank you for joining the live. As Dot B said, we broadcast on multiple social media platforms. So if we tend to miss your comment, we're not forgetting about you. It's just we're trying to access all of them to be able to
Yeah.
let you know, guys, know what's going on.
Okay, Trump has fired federal workers already. He is a fascist, atheist gene. Yes, he has fired federal workers as well, but this is going to take it to a whole new level.
Yeah, and thank you for that
Your
comment, Eugene.
yes,
We
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yes.
We appreciate it very much.
And also, we got a comment from John White that says he's giving our money away.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
he is.
and the funny thing about this is now look at what's happening. They claim that the it's going to be the Democrats' fault because the Democrats actually want to protect the health care of millions of Americans that will actually lose their health care, or their premiums will rise substantially. Now, this is the crazy thing. Now they're saying that they don't want to spend any money to help the American people with health care, but yet at the same time, he just offered up $60 billion of the American people's money to bail out Argentina. Now check this out now. China normally gets its soy from the United States. What happened after Trump bailing out Argentina? You know what Argentina did? They cut their prices on their soybean, and China bought their soybean from Argentina instead of the United States. So you're bailing out Argentina, and they're cutting us short with China. What sense does that make? And you're using our funds to do it, but yet you're telling us we can't get the health care that we deserve.
Okay, guys. So now we're going to move on. Now, the House, this is the craziest part. The House moves and closes the meetings. In other words, he don't want to meet. This is Mike Johnson. This is who I'm referring to. He paused the operation and closed meetings to the press. No transparency, and there's no political cowardice. I know. Yes, yes. So this is the moves that are being made, guys.
And it just doesn't make sense, guys. You would figure that the House Speaker would want to, get this thing together, even if the president doesn't. But when you're a minion subordinate of the president, you have to do exactly what he says.
Yes, that is true. Okay, guys. So according to Reuters, Johnson said that the House had fulfilled all of its duties and would not reconvene before the deadline. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, cuts are being made, guys.
That's right. And Republicans are actually drafting up a stopgap that funds part of the government until November 21st. But it excludes health care provisions, and Democrats insist that part must stay. Now, Reuters also reports that the GOP refuses to reauthorize those ACA subsidies. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, we got a comment from Felonious Musk that says that's what Republicans do. They want to keep spending money, but want to keep raising the debt ceiling. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. So, guys, thank you for your gifts. Thank you, Nova. We appreciate your gifts. Y'all keep those gifts coming. We appreciate those. Thank you, Jerome Graves. How are you this evening? Thank you, guys. But this is what's happening. Yes, that is true. And the saddest part about it is, like I said, that the blame is going back and forth, and the Democrats are trying to help the American people. Thank you, Gustavus. But yet the Republicans are firm. They don't even want to hear no discussions. We talked about this earlier, and maybe one day last week, where they don't even want to even bargain.
No, they don't.
And they don't want to hear the other resolution that's been presented. They don't want none of that. Trump said it's either his way. He said it's either his way. If he don't get what he want, he's going to shut the government down.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy, guys. It's just hard to believe that the president will be willing to shut the government down, but yet again, we're going to go back to his own words, 2013. He says if the government gets shut down, it's the president's fault. Now he's the president right now, so I wonder if he's going to eat his own words, or is he going to use the blame game and blame the Democrats instead? But it's amazing you want to blame the Democrats now that you're president, but when Obama was president, on the verge of a government shutdown, you put all the blame on Barack Obama at the time. It just doesn't make sense. So also, guys, if you guys are following us, you don't have to tell us to follow you. We follow everybody that follows us. So if you're following us, we'll appreciate it. As Doc B said, we'll appreciate the gifts, appreciate the tapping on the screen. We'll appreciate you guys sharing the live. Hey, we'll appreciate all the love that you guys do for JNB Live Podcast.
And thank you, Gus Tavis. Hey, fam, that he said that's crazy, shutting the government down. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And the sad part about it, I mentioned earlier, a lot of people are going to be affected by this shutdown. Okay, guys.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what's getting cut, and what's the blame game all about, Doc
Okay,
B?
so we're going to take a look at the budget cuts, guys. Energy, environmental programs, safety net expansions, which is also part of the Medicare funding and climate program. According to Time News, Republicans prioritize their defense. You know, they're big on the immigrants, so they're promoting defense and immigration while slashing green energy and social programs.
Yeah, and then the GOP says that the Democrats refuse to pass anything. And again, it's a blame game. They're blaming on the Democrats now. But Republicans hold both chambers, the Senate and the Congress, and the White House. So this failure is theirs. It's not the Democrats. Schumer himself said just that in Politico. How can you blame somebody else and you're not even trying to do anything yourself? You pretty much own Congress, the Senate, and the White House, but you're putting the blame on the Democrats.
Okay, the Sigma BDY Leaks wants to know what's the name of the podcast and where can I find it?
Okay, I can help you with
that.
Yes. It's J&B Live Podcast. Now, if you want to find it, we're on all platforms, all social media platforms at Live with JNB, and that's JANDB. Live with JNB. And if you're on the podcast platforms such as Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, you just look up J and B. That's J and symbol B Live Podcast, and you'll be able to pull us up then. So make sure you guys go to YouTube or our social media platforms. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow, share, and definitely comment on any of the content that you guys may watch and enjoy. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Okay. Now let's get back into it, Doc B.
Okay, guys. So the White House spokesman Vance said Democrats have held the government hostage. Of course he would blame the Democrats. But according to the Washington Post, he warned, we may do a lot. That's only because of the Democrats. So, it's the blame game. Of course, the GOP and the vice president and Trump are going to blame the Democrats. That's what they're going to do. It's all over the place. They're saying it's the reason why we're shutting down is the Democrats. But if the Democrats presented a bill and you're not even willing to look at it, or you're not willing to even sit down and discuss it, then that's a problem. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Mike Johnson doesn't even, he's closed session and sent everybody home so that they can't meet.
Yeah, but
So does that make any sense?
That was because that's exactly what Donald Trump told him to do.
Yeah.
Now they cut all their own stuff, but then they blame the Democrats for refusing to pass it. Now, guys, let's pay attention to this. If you guys watch the news or watch everything that these Republicans are saying, they're in regards to the blame game to the Democrats. You know, they all keep using the same thing. They want to fund health care for illegal aliens. They want to give this money to illegal aliens. Now, that's straight craziness. You know, that's the what you call that clickbait or something like that they're trying to use to make people believe. Oh yeah, I don't want my money personally. I don't want my money going to illegal aliens for healthcare.
Right.
You know, because our premium is already high enough. I don't want that happening. So don't confuse us with wanting illegal aliens to take health care. Now, if you are a citizen and you deserve those health care subsidies, then of course, but over 11 million people will be cut from health care services, and another 6 million will be dealing with their subsidies that will be cut as well, taking them premiums on average $700 higher per month.
Okay, guys. Thank you guys for your gifts. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us as well. Hey, Bill James, how are you this evening? Thank you, guys.
So Dr. B, let me ask you this quick question. So if you don't want to fund health care for the American citizens, you know, because you're claiming that it's coming out of the taxpayers' dollars, how come the American people didn't have a chance to vote on whether we wanted to give $60 billion of our taxpayer money to Argentina? It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
How can the government make a call on how to spend our money but tell us what we can't get with our own funds?
Yeah.
It just has to be a balance somewhere, and it's just not what they say. The math is just not math. It does not make sense.
It does not add up. And according to Sigma, that person agrees with you as well. It says exactly, guys. And so that's what's happening. So here's the thread, guys. So when the tax, it says if the enhanced tax credit, which everybody, you get a tax credit, expires, individuals could see a 75% increase in premiums. That means your premium is going to go up. That's how much you pay for health insurance. As CBS News has already reported that insurers spending, they sent out notices in multiple states that there would be a possible increase in your premium. So it's already out there, guys.
And they already warned that more than 24 million people who purchased their own insurance could face massive hikes. Now, again, this is all part of the big, beautiful bill.
Yes, it is.
It's all supposed to be beautiful, but what's not beautiful about this bill is Americans are losing their health care coverage while billionaires are getting massive tax breaks, and countries that we don't even give a damn about are getting our money, but we can't even get our own money.
Mm-hmm. And Sigma asks, what can we do about it? That is very frustrating. I agree, it's very frustrating. But this is why we have to get out and vote, not just in the primaries and the general elections. We got to start voting at the lower level, in the local level, because think about it. Who you send to the House, who you send to the Senate matters, because they are allowing the president to do as he pleases he's just doing whatever he wants to do. And it's like they are afraid of him and they're approving everything that he wants and they're giving to him. And so right now, the Democrats are saying, hey, no, we've got to look out for the American people. But they're blaming the Democrats in this particular case.
Now, don't get us wrong. Now, we're not saying that the Democrats don't have their own faults, because we realize when it comes to politicians as a whole, they all have issues.
Yes.
Now, what we're saying is everybody always wants to go out and vote for a president. But then when it comes time for the midterm, nobody don't feel like they're necessary. The judges, the commissioners and senators and the Congress, they don't go do those votes. Now, when you get locked up by that local sheriff that don't like you because you Latino, remember, you didn't vote. you didn't vote for him or vote for somebody that cares about all the people.
Yes.
So you have to go out and vote during the midterms as well. It's crazy that most people don't realize we need to start fighting for term limits, because
yes,
these Congress and Senate people
and the Supreme Court
and Supreme Court, these lifers that's been in there. Now imagine this. Now imagine if you're a hardcore racist. Now when I'm going to use the term racist anybody, and now you're a senator. Now people keep voting for you. You in there for years. You're going to keep doing everything you can to cut the people that you don't like. Think about it now.
Yes.
And you in there for the rest of your life. So if they got term limits on the president, they should have term limits on Congress and Senate. It should not be a lifetime job.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. Okay. All right, guys. So in Texas, the hospitals say that their premiums might be more than double. So depending on your state, over 115% increase in some cases, guys. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
So if Republicans succeed in removing those subsidy protections, that's what some of the families will face, guys. It's heartening, but that's exactly what's going to happen. So, like I said, with our podcast, we believe in informing people. So those of you who may live in that area, Texas area, or any of the other 50 states, we're letting you know in advance that there's a possibility that you may see an increase in your premiums.
Exactly. And meanwhile, Medicaid funding is already cut, and changes are proposed by Republicans that could reduce access to care in vulnerable states. Now, the Dems argue that the GOP is trying to dismantle healthcare safety nets entirely, and they are. They've been hacking at Obamacare for a few years now, and they're at the cuffs right now of completely dismantling that program, which will hurt a lot of people. And those are the subsidies that we was talking about. So, say for instance, you work, but you can't afford to pay $400 a month for your health insurance. So, based on your income, they'll say, okay, well, you just have to pay $120, and we'll cover the other $300 for you, so that way you can get the coverage that you need. So, if they remove those subsidies, then the insurance companies say, you know what, we're increasing premiums altogether. So for your particular case, your age, and whatever the case may be, we want $500 a month to insure you. If you don't have that, we're talking, that's a car payment. For some people, that's their rent.
Yes.
You can't afford to pay that. So what happens? You go without health care. And most people already know people with limited to no health care, those are the ones that are more than likely have a low mortality rate. Point blank. It is what it is.
Because they can't afford for health care. So that makes sense. They can't afford it. So therefore, they have more sicknesses because they can't take care of themselves. And so this combined with a lot of more other issues. We talked about the SNAP benefits, Section 8, we talked about all of that. But all of that coupled with what's happening now with the government being shut down and the premiums going up, this is just going to be devastating for some families.
It sure is. Now let's talk about those detailed shutdown scenarios, because some people want to know what that's going to look like, Dr. B.
Okay, we're going to plunge into what could possibly happen. Okay, this is your cut-ready scenario breakdown. Okay, so like I said, if they don't decide and get it approved by midnight, the government will be shut down. Okay, so non-essential workers, there's going to be a freeze. Federal workers will possibly be either fired or furloughed.
Trump is pushing for firing.
He's pushing for firings. Okay, there's a lot of grants that's out there, permits, regulatory bodies, all of that will stop. Okay, guys? And some agencies may enact what's called a mass firing rather than a temporary shutdown.
Yeah.
And Trump said it. He don't mind. He does not mind shutting down people. Yeah. And you already know he don't mind firing federal workers.
Yeah, because the Doge already cut tens of thousands of federal workers already.
Yeah. So he does not mind doing that, guys. That's not going to be an issue for him.
Now, again, I want to piggyback something on what Doc B just said a few minutes ago in regards to those grants and permits. If your company that you work for right now, and a lot of colleges and so forth like that, they get grant money. And if for whatever reason, they have a shutdown, those colleges they do not receive those funds. So that means that those people that are getting paid through those grants, they won't get paid.
Yeah, that is
They
correct.
won't get paid at all.
Okay, so we got a comment from you, Majesty. We need to get rid of some of those people at office who's making these laws. I agree.
That's
the
why
Senate. It's so important
That's-
to vote.
That's the Senate.
Yes.
The next midterm is November 2026. We know it's a year away from now, but guys, we have to vote every time there's a vote. We can't just vote every 4 years for the president. Most people don't understand. The president can't do anything without the House and the Senate. Now, we do have a president in office right now that's doing all these illegal executive orders. What that does is try to bypass the Senate and the House, but that's literally illegal what he's doing. But nonetheless, we have to get out and vote each time that there is a vote. Now, back on what happens, these scenarios with the shutdown. Now, if it's a partial shutdown, it's like a short stopgap deal. That means that they fund the government until November 21st. What's going to happen is some departments will get funding while others will stay in the dark. Congress gets a few weeks with intensified renegotiations, which I'm not sure is going to really happen because the Republicans are pretty stuck on making sure that Americans do not get the health care subsidies that they deserve. And Republicans may also force the Democrats to accept worse terms in a mid-deal.
Yeah, and that could happen as well. So, guys, let's think about last minute, because up to 11:59, up to the last minutes, the Republicans can fold on health subsidies to avoid that political backlash. Now, whether they're going to do that, I don't know. I feel personally that it's unlikely, but I don't know. I hope they do. I hope they decide to work with the Democrats and go ahead and pass the resolution so there's not a government shutdowns. Also, the Dems could pass. They could do what's called a stopgap with protections and add some stipulations in there. But it might be temporary, but that's okay because they got into November the 21st, but there would still be another threat of another showdown after that day.
Yeah, and and now what happens if there are permanent cuts? Permanent cut deal. Now, if that happens, the GOP insists on long-term cuts to Medicaid, those safety nets, and climate programs. You already got a crazy president already talking about windmills don't work, solar don't work. We need to go back to coal, good old-fashioned coal. Coal is as old as his ass is. I'm sorry, I just hate to say it. Okay. But Democrats relent under pressure, but the political toll is very huge. Future budgets may become harsher, and public services, they'll shrink permanently.
Yeah, that's what'll happen. So they'll threaten your coverage people. They're going to threaten that and then say they had no choice. I can hear them now. We didn't have any choice. The Democrats forced our hands. They always have a choice when it comes to how we take care of the American people.
Exactly. Any comments?
We got Jimmy James is saying illegal aliens are citizens, therefore your point of view is treasonous. Can you clarify that?
Yeah, please clarify, because we never stated. In fact, we actually said we don't believe in illegal aliens getting any kind of health care.
Yeah.
See, those are the clickbaits that Republicans are using, saying that the Democrats don't want to stop the government from being shut down because they want to fund illegal aliens with health care. We don't believe in that. No. If you're a legal alien and you're not here legally, no, you should not get any health care. No, you should not get any food stamps. No, you should not get any benefits. That's how we personally feel. Yeah. You should not get those things. You're supposed to come to this country the right way, and we believe in that. So I'm not sure if you probably clarify what you're saying, because we don't believe in that. Yeah, but thank you, Jimmy James. But please provide us with a little bit
more clarification so we know exactly what you're meaning,
Yes,
because we don't want our point of view to be misinterpreted. That's the last thing that we want.
exactly,
Okay, guys?
exactly.
Okay. So thank you guys for joining us. We've got safety net, climate change, your community is burning. You may want to clarify that as well. I'm not sure what you mean by that as well, Jimmy James. Please clarify. James Munson, is that your name? Yes, please let us know what you're thinking. I mean, if this is your point of view, you're welcome to have your own point of view. We're not saying what you're saying is completely incorrect. We're just telling you how we feel about this particular topic. Okay, so
Yeah,
please share with us.
and if you can, we appreciate the fact that you are commenting. Just
Yes.
give us a little more clarity on what you mean, because we don't understand. It's a little vague in regards to what you're saying.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, guys. So now we're going to talk about the messaging warfare and the media spin, how the media is actually spinning this, because, we've talked about it before. Sometimes it's hard to get the real news, what's actually happening, unless you're streaming, because the legacy media is not providing you guys with the whole story. And that's what happens sometimes. People make comments and they don't know the full story. They're just hearing what's out there posted on Twitter or whatever you get your news from. And you have to remember, guys, that there's an algorithm. If you believe in a certain thing, that's what that particular social media outlet is going to feed to you. That's all
Yeah.
they're going to feed to you, because that's all you believe. So sometimes it's good for you to switch up and get your news from other sources.
Yeah, and guys, I'm not gonna lie. I used to always watch CNN. That
Me
was
too.
one of my favorite news medias. But then I realized that all of these legacy medias, most of them are bought out. They're not giving you real information. They're telling you what they believe you should know. They're not giving you real information. It's most times when something major happens, legacy media only gives it to you after most of the online media is already giving you that information. Now it's like they have no other choice but to go ahead and tell you.
Now, Jimmy James, he just come in and he said what he meant by that is that because of climate change, that our community is burning. So, I know they had the wildfires in Chicago, not Chicago, but California last year. But now where I live, unless you being metaphoric, there's no burnings in Georgia where we live. Now, if you want to clarify and give us a little bit more information, maybe where you live, maybe you're experiencing that. You can share with the other viewers.
Okay, I think James is just going a little off there. He's saying your priorities are off. The things you expanded on are meaningless, leftist. But see, those are the reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. See, whenever you mention anything against Republican or things that they're doing, they always revert back to, oh, that's the left, that's the left.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we just clarified we don't believe in
None.
immigrants getting health care and so
No, we
forth
do
like
not.
that.
We do
Now,
not.
don't understand what he mean by the communities burning, but see, we still welcome your comments.
Yes, we do.
We still welcome.
Thank you for being one of our top gifters
because
as well.
that's how you feel,
And that's your opinion.
and there's nothing wrong with your opinion. But we always suggest make sure you find a way to get your own information, because I'm telling you guys, there's so much information out there right now, and the way that they're getting all of us is through social media, through a legacy media. They're telling you things that are not real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And October 5th says, right, I wouldn't let him be rude. And like I said, we're hoping that this does not turn into something that's rude. He's expressing how he feels. He's, saying what we're saying is leftist. We clarified and explained to him and the rest of our audience and our viewers and listeners that we're not leftists. We don't believe in supporting immigrants that are here illegally. No, we definitely don't believe in that. But we're about protecting the American people. That's what we're talking about, because we don't want anyone to lose their health insurance, because if they lose their health insurance, they're going to start having health problems.
And we're talking about the American people. Yes. We're not talking about illegals.
No, we're not
talking about illegals in any way.
No.
And here on J&B Live Podcast, we always allow our viewers and watchers, listeners, or whatever the case, to comment. We want to know what you have to say. And he has his own view on certain things, and nothing wrong with that, because a lot of us need to know how people think.
Yeah.
People think differently than you do, and it's good to know where people's heads are at.
And someone posted a comment. Thank you, Emerald, for your gift. What American people are we talking about? We're talking about the American people that live in the United States. If the bill is not passed at 12 o'clock, there's a possibility, strong possibility, that the insurance premiums will go up 75%. You may lose if you fit into that category where you may be using Ambetter or one of the others similar to Obamacare. You may be without health insurance.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. That's serious.
And now that's just not just with healthcare. Healthcare is the spin that the Republicans are using to say that the Democrats, the reason why the government may shut down is because the Democrats want to fund illegal aliens for healthcare, but that is not the case. That's not the case at all.
Oh. Somebody posted, the real American people is us. Oh, well, snap.
Hey, now you might get a lot of people upset with that one.
Yeah, but that's your opinion.
But that's your opinion.
Yeah, okay.
Now, the real truth is, who's going to hurt the most are a lot of the federal workers that may be fired from their jobs.
Yeah.
Now we know we can find a way, or hopefully that the government can find a way to work around the people that deserve their health care. Hopefully can be able to keep it without those rates going sky high. But we don't want the government to shut down, because we don't want people to lose their jobs over this foolishness. And again, I'm going to go back to it, because this is real. Now, you may have people saying, that the left want to fund illegal aliens, whatever like that. Let me ask you guys a question. The American people, and if you are a taxpayer where you pay your taxes every year, President Trump has initiated $60 billion to Argentina of our taxpaying, hardworking money. But yet he's saying that hardworking Americans that deserve health care don't need it. So if we have a choice, we should be able to vote on whether we give our money to another country. Now, keep in mind, get your facts. You don't just take J&B Live podcast information. Get your facts. This is what Donald Trump just did. Now, Argentina just sold its soybeans to China. China normally gets 80% of their soybeans from the U.S. They haven't bought any soybeans from us since the tariffs have started.
Okay, he's saying, Your Majesty is saying that's the reason why we should not pay taxes. Well, tell President Trump that then. Make that known if that's how you feel.
Well, you can't tell Trump, because he don't pay his own taxes.
Okay.
Let's be real.
But maybe that's why Your Majesty don't believe in paying taxes.
He don't pay his own taxes. He said he's smart.
Yeah.
That's why he don't have to pay taxes. And then because of what he's doing right now, he's helping those billionaires to avoid big taxes.
So let me ask you something, Your Majesty. Do you think the billionaires and the millionaires should pay taxes? Or you just think nobody should pay taxes? So in other words, where'd the money gonna come from to fund the government then if nobody's paying taxes? And I would like to know. So when you get a chance, drop us something in the comment section about that, okay? All right, guys. So as I mentioned earlier, the Republicans are pushing Democrats won't fund the government. That's their excuse. Democrats are countering, and they're saying we will not abandon health care. The American people deserve health insurance.
Yeah, and the media headlines, they're absolutely ruthless. U.S. government on the brink of its first shutdown in almost 7 years, according to Associated Press. Now, James just made another comment, but climate change prove it. Health care for Americans will go up or not.
But Your Majesty believes that billionaires should pay taxes. Now, you know that that's a conflict with your president. He don't believe in billionaires paying taxes. If anything, they shouldn't pay no taxes. So if the billionaires should pay taxes, they should take care of all of the taxes for all of the American people. Is that what you're saying? Okay, all right. Thank you. Well, thank you guys for your gifts. Thank you guys for all of your comments. We appreciate you
Yes.
guys. Keep it coming.
Yeah, you got. Hey, we appreciate those comments.
And I'm going to give another headline was Trump mocks Schumer and Jeffries in that AI video hours after the meeting took place. And then you guys need to Google it and find that video so you can actually see it. It's not humorous to me at all.
Yeah, and James, we appreciate all these great comments you're giving.
Thank you for the gifts
you
too.
said we are killing each other at record levels, and we are aborting 23 million babies. Now, I'm going to give you some facts real quick that you may want to know. I agree with you. We are killing each other at crazy rates. What you should pay attention to is look at all these mass shootings that's going on.
Yeah, what about that?
We can't get any gun control. But yet we got all these mass shootings going on. In regards to the abortion, I'm finna wake you up on this one. Don't you know that Caucasian Americans abort more babies than minorities?
Mm-hmm.
It's facts.
Well, I'm gonna take it a step further. My personal opinion is that a woman has a right to do whatever she wants with her own body. With her own body. If she does something and it's a sin, she has to live with that sin. But it's her body. No one should be making a decision about a woman's body. I stand firm to that one. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but I stand firm on that.
Yeah, and you should be able to have your own opinion, B. Mm-hmm. And how you feel about it. I will agree with you to that extent that I think that the woman should have the right to her own body. I don't think that a man should have the right to decide what you do with your own body.
But a lot of people know that the MAGA people believe, and even Charlie Kirk, they believe in a women, the only right that they were just supposed to have babies, stay at home, don't vote, don't have no voice. That's what they believed in. You guys do your homework and find out exactly who your leaders are, find out what they believe in, and then you want to praise somebody that want to give women any right, not black women, no women, no rights.
And see, and if you guys actually do your own research, at one time the only people that was able to vote was white men.
That's it.
One of the reasons why the civil rights was a big movement, because it wasn't just the blacks or minorities that wanted to vote. What pushed it over the edge was women. You had a lot of white women that wanted to vote as well. So they joined the cause just so they would have the right to be able to vote. So you guys, you have to do your own research.
Due diligence.
They're already removing a lot of the history out of there because they don't want you to know some of the facts of the history that really happened. So guys, do your research. That's all we can say to you guys. Just do your research.
Okay. All right, guys. So that you mentioned, we do need to mention that the GOP, they have refused to compromise.
Yeah.
Of course, the Democrats are saying that we're going to protect people's health. So now, my final thoughts is this has been a very interesting topic this evening.
Great topic. We appreciate
thank
you
guys for your comments. We do know where you're coming from, James Johnson. You were able to clarify some of your comments about climate change is actually what's killing some of the people, and we do understand that. And then you also mentioned about babies being aborted, and that's how we're killing our population as well. And you are entitled to your own opinion, just like everyone that's on this platform. Everybody has a voice. You can feel about any of these topics. You can agree with me or disagree with me, but we can agree to disagree.
That's right,
guys? So the shutdown fight is a power play. This is a power move. It is a big power move on in the eyes of the Republicans, because they're saying we hold the cards. We're going to shut the government down if we don't get what we want. And needless to say, if we don't get what we want, that means we're not willing to hear nothing that you got to say. You just give us what we want. Okay, so it's a power play. Trump's tantrums, Mike Johnson's canceling the sessions, that's budget sabotage. None of it is innocent. The cuts they're pushing for will hit the poor people the hardest. That's who's going to get hit. The people that don't have regular insurance taken out of their check. People who are probably not working, can't afford regular health insurance. When people lose care, they miss medications, they can't afford their premiums. There's no spend that's going to fix that problem. We must demand accountability. We must demand transparency and more leadership. That's why it's so important. I think it was it that mentioned it earlier. It's important that people get out and vote, not political theater. We don't want no part of that. So we know what's happening now. We don't want this to happen next year, November. What was it? Midterms
in November 2026.
You got to get out and vote.
Yeah, and guys, here's my final thought on today's topic. Okay, and I totally agree with you, Dot B. They need to stop playing these political theatrics when it comes down to the American people. The government shouldn't have no reason to have to shut down because we voted in our Congress and Senate. They are supposed to be working for us, not the president.
Correct.
There's no way in the world the president should dictate, well, I'm not gonna do this for the Democratic blue states because they didn't vote for me. That's foolishness. If you're a president, you're a president to the people, not president to whoever party you associate with. Now, they hold all the levers of power, all of them, the Senate, the House, the presidency, yet they treat history like it's a series of crises to be judged later. The blame game is already underway. We see it every day. And I mean, as the time is ticking for the shutdown, they constantly on the airwaves, on social media right now, talking about it's the Dems' fault. But the real victims are everyday Americans trying to breathe, trying to eat these damn high-ass prices for food. Come on. It's ridiculous. Gas prices. People are trying to work and survive.
And if you've been to the grocery store lately, you have noticed a price increase.
It doesn't make sense. Y'all paychecks are not going up. Food prices, everything else is going up, but your paychecks are not going up. The employment rate is going up. Everything is going up. No matter how it ends tonight, the after effects will start immediately. I promise you.
Yes,
we need to watch who blinks, who folds, and who picks up the pieces and hold them responsible for every broken promise that they made.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that, Broker J3, about holding the people, the Dems, the House and the Senate responsible. We need to know who's voting for what. You need to know what your leaders in your particular state, how are they voting? They may be not voting with the side of the constituents, probably because they're not, because, if they're voting for the American people, they may be voting because they're afraid of Trump.
And you know what? It's amazing you said that, because we were just talking about legacy media earlier. I remember when I was younger, maybe in my 20s, I remember it was a station, I'm not sure if it's still on or not, C-SPAN. C-SPAN used to show you the House and Senate when they convened, and they show you when they had votes. They have on that HB and the number, that means the House bill, and they'll show you how many Republicans voted yes, no, or did not vote. They stopped doing that, and I know why. The reason why they stopped doing that is because they don't want the American people to know that bills that affect the American people, they don't want them to know that they're voting for whatever the president wants. Now, I remember it used to be Republicans 109, Democrats 160. What that showed me at that time, that everybody that was there had their own frame of mind, or they was voting based on their constituents. That's what they was doing. Now the votes are 218 Republicans yes, the Democrats 0. Nobody, and no. All the rest of the Democrats no. Everybody's voting yes or no. It's all the same. Nobody has their own mind anymore.
Yeah, Faith said that she says, yes, I remember that she used to watch the vote as well. But they don't do that anymore.
They don't do it anymore. And it's crazy that we're voting for people that when they get to the Senate and the House, they don't care nothing about the people that voted them there. They're doing whatever the president or whatever that House person that controls them says. We're all going to vote no.
Okay. Now we've got Yellow that says, "Hello, I'm new, and I'm so glad you're speaking about this topic. I wanted to share something important." Okay, we please share. Yes, but this is a topic that you guys need to follow. Like I said, the government shut down. You'll know tomorrow when you wake up in the morning what has transpired. But like I say, we're educating people because we want you to be empowered. So in case that does happen tomorrow, you can't say, "Well, I didn't know." Yeah, you know now, because we're telling you what could possibly happen. Okay, did Yellow get a chance to say, please remind people who are on the benefits to check all mailed notices. Okay, yes, we talked about that earlier. Some people were notified that they may lose their health insurance or their premiums might increase. Exactly.
Yeah. They've already started sending out notices. Actually, once that big bad ugly ass bill passed, they had already started sending out notices. We've already had some of our followers and subscribers had already. For previous episodes, had actually told us that some of them had already received notice that their SNAP benefits are being cut, or they're being pulled off of their health care. So it already started. It's just going to actually just get much worse. That's the only difference.
All right. Thank you, Yellow. That's a case manager. So thank you for sharing it. And thank you for bringing that so that we can mention it again before we end this podcast. And if there's anything else that you want to share, please share with the audience and we'll read it out so that our listeners can hear it as well, because we want people to be prepared. A lot of people, I hate to say it, guys, but they're not going to know anything because some of them may not even be on social media. They're not going to know what's going on. And the legacy media may not give it to them straight. They're not going to tell them exactly what may happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate it. This was a very informative episode, and that's what we're all about. Please join us again tomorrow. We'll be live at about 5:00. We're going to go a little early tomorrow, and then Thursday we'll be back on at 6 p.m. So guys, thank you so much. You guys have been the bomb this evening. And Yellow says, "Okay, thank you again. We appreciate it." Okay, so shout out again to all of our listeners. We have Donna Hughes. We have Robert Wayne. Thank you, Jimmy Johnson, for James Johnson for joining us.
October 5th.
October 5th, yes. October 5th was getting ready to take up for us, guys. Watch out now.
Hey, might have to make him or her a moderator around here.
Right? So we like I said, we appreciate you guys. And to everyone that left comments in real time, your voice does matter. Even if you don't agree with us, that's okay. This is the platform where everyone can share their voices, because we feel a certain way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you feel the same way. And like I said earlier, we can agree to disagree. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. and guys, make sure you share the clips, tag us, debate with us, and help us to get the word out.
Yes, thank you, guys. So, guys, I am your girl, Dr. B, your favorite auntie. Remember that, guys.
And you already know, I'm your boy, your favorite uncle, that guy, Broker J3. Guys, stay loud, stay aware, and stay ready.
Yes. So, guys, until next time,
let's talk about it.
You guys have a wonderful night. Good evening.
Good night.